Just a moment. All right. All right, so we're going to work with how to recharge life force energy in the body. So, when there's really, really heavy energies, global energies working around us, we become more exhausted. And the exhaustion is not just, tired, like, it's like you're drained, you're constantly drained, you're sleepy. And I've been hearing a lot of people talk about this, like your soul is tired. And so there's a couple parts to this. Energetically, what we need to notice is that, of course, as you know, your entire body is constantly absorbing information. The question is, what part of your body has been affected the most by the energies? And you become aware of that by noticing what parts of you are being drained and what's triggering that exhaustion within you. So, what I'd like to do today is kind of do a little journey of connecting with how we're feeling and really speaking to any kind of exhaustion, any tired. And this can be just tired of repetitive patterns, tired of just life force energy draining, feeling emotionally exhausted, because that's usually what it is. What we find out is that the root of this exhaustion is really in the emotion. The emotional body is the one that is drained the most because we're in a state of survival, or we are in a state of constantly reacting to things around us that are happening. And so the most abundant energy bank for us is to stay in a state of neutrality. That way we're not just jumping on top of things and emotionally running around, responding to what's happening externally. And so, but we don't really notice that because we're often busy with life. We have a lot of things happening, and we're listening also to a lot of things throughout the day, whether it's on social media or the radio, television, whatever it is, sending signals of information that are encoded with emotional triggers that really trigger us. And even certain sounds and frequencies in music can also trigger feelings of feeling unsettled or anxious in the body. And so these are all aspects of this energetic body that become completely drained. So most of these techniques of draining your life force energy really come into play when we're not aware, again, of the first three chakras. But I want to find out why you become exhausted, why you specifically end up feeling drained. Each person has a different perspective, and identifying the root cause of that exhaustion really helps you recharge your body and re-energize and begin to adjust that habit so that next time you're not coming into these exhausting, draining, life force draining habits. You can also be exchanging negative energy with somebody in your environment in which you have cords that are always draining life force energy. If you're in a state of survival and just like holding your space throughout the day so that they don't trigger you, that's also another state of draining your life force energy. And so the couple techniques that we're going to look at today are so that hopefully you can surrender to everything that's happening, that's triggering outside of you, in such a way that you feel balanced, empowered, and you are completely in charge of your energy bank. And we're also going to be looking at how to recharge that energy. The fastest way to recharge that energy is, number one, by removing the exhaustion from the body. So you can identify where you're holding on to the exhaustion. Notice the muscles that are holding on to that tension and that information, releasing that energy from the body. And you can literally remove it out of your body to a point where you then breathe in, inhaling, bringing life force energy into those centers, expanding those centers, and they come back into a state of neutrality. And secondly, cutting cords with anyone that's draining our life force energy. And third, in nature, we can recharge that energy into the body. And so, and this can happen with a plant, a small plant that you have. when we look at little plants and we have life force energy in our space, what it's causing us to do is to tap into the natural rhythms of Earth. Okay, the toroidal field. This plant has its own toroidal field. That toroidal field is a match to the toroidal field on this planet Earth. And so, because it's an exact mathematic expression of life force energy, which is in balance. And so we, when we're bombarded with, codes, prints of imprints of information, sound waves, stress, our vibrational frequency becomes messed up. It completely becomes distorted. And so we need to, through the chakra system, through our light tunnel, right? The tunnel of light that we have through the body, which is connected to source. We have to restore that balance in the body in order to allow for regular, natural flow of life force through the body. And so a plant is a wonderful way to remember. You're reminding the body what it's like to be in a state of balanced flow, and therefore you match that energy that the plant is having. Okay, and you can do this with any living thing. You can even do it with crystals. We talked about crystals yesterday. You can do it with crystals, and we'll get into crystals some other time. But another way to do it is from trees. If you have trees nearby your home or plants, visualize, even if you're in your home, absorbing that life force energy. It would be better to go outside and do it. So maybe after this, you can take just a moment to just go outside and breathe and bring in that life force energy from the trees. Literally, you can absorb life force from the trees. They have this incredible emanation of life force that, we talk about tree hugging, which is a very real thing. The body, when you connect with that nature, again, it rebalances the body. It's incredible. Even the organs begin to detoxify, coming back into balance. Any stress that you're holding onto the body immediately releases. And so what we want to do is, from trees, visualize that you're absorbing a yellow or golden light from them, and it comes into your toroidal field, rebalancing and flushing out any stagnation in the body. And you can use your imagination to do this practice, or you can go out in nature, which would be better. And within seconds, you rebalance the body and you recharge energetically. The final way to come back into an energetic state is by accessing and activating your crown chakra. Okay, this is incredibly important, and I have utilized this, saving my life back in the years when I was in my company, running my company, working, oh my gosh, almost 20 hours a day with like less than 3 hours of sleep, doing multiple wedding and events, and running around from one city to the next. And trust me, the exhaustion after 10 years of doing that is so profound that you feel like spaghetti at the end of this long experience. But when you utilize your crown chakra, what got me through that was knowing energy techniques and learning how to recharge the body using all the techniques I just mentioned here. But the most powerful is here working with your crown chakra, because the crown chakra is the center for manifestation. It's what you're projecting into your reality. So we can shift and change what we're experiencing exactly in that moment by readjusting what we're projecting from there. Everything that you have here in the crown chakra projecting out is being fed and informed by the information that we have within the body. So if we have unresolved emotions that we're holding on to throughout the day, or maybe even last week, that is draining your life force. Many things, primarily the emotions, drain life force energy. So it's incredibly important to, when we have emotional problems or blockages, address them, sit with them, take the time to work with them. And the way that the energy is moving in our moment of evolution right now for the entire planet is that all of that stuff that's being stored in the body is really being felt in a physical manner, in a very physical manner this year, next 3 years. Okay, we're going to be, it's embodying a more physical aspect of the energetic stagnation. And the reason for that is that so you can work on it. It's necessary to clean that stuff up as it comes up. So all of the tools that we've shared during this journey are for that, okay? For that, to embody your highest self. You cannot embody the highest self if you have a bunch of junky stuff in the body, emotions, thoughts, programs that don't serve you. It's really time to take charge of that and let go of those programs and begin to embody a more fluid, energetic healing state, regenerating state. So we want to work on that. And so the crown chakra, when you fill it in with your crown color, okay, we're going to create a section. You can change the sections of your crown chakra depending on your life, on what's important to you and what you want evolved and expanded in your life. If you lack love life, for example, you can enter a section for a partner. And truly telling you that it will shift what you experience. You will be in magnetic resonance to that partner, in magnetic resonance to more business, to money, to wellness in the family, balance, less arguments in the family, because you are creating. You are a creator. And so when you enter the state of creation, what you manifests very quickly because you're doing it from your highest intention. And so in the same way, the body regenerates when it enters this into a place of energy. So you can enter a space for life force, healing, balance. And when you're in a state of neutrality, you will never be exhausted. Never. Because your body is in a state of perfect balance, like this plant. Like the plant. The plant exists without questioning its existence, its perfection, without questioning the things around it, whether it'll harm it. It feels completely in alignment with itself and its environment. And that's what we need to enter. We need to enter that state of wisdom at all times. All right, guys. So, any questions about that? Adriana? Yes, go ahead.
I I have a question about something else because I just saw on the chat
Oh, I
and
can't hear
remember um, that you have a lot of meditations on YouTube from before and from now and forever. Um, so when I start with um, 31 day challenge. So it's not too long ago.
you. Mm-hmm.
Um, but for me, the one that works was living the matrix. So, here is where questions come. I do that almost every morning, but every time when I listen, it seems to me that I hear more. Why?
It seems to you that what?
I hear more.
You learn more
I
hearing
hear
more.
more.
Okay.
Like you are speaking more detailed. I don't know why, because it's the same video.
I mean, the truth is, Adriana, that this information is very complex, okay? And I try to look at all of the angles possible to it. These are things that you all have to discover in your own personal journey. And you will discover when you do the work, when you dive deep into the work in the daily practice, these things will come up naturally. You will inform yourself through the practice, because even though each person has their own journey, what we're learning is the function of this architecture, which we all have the same light body, and it all works the same, right? We have the toroidal fields, the systems, the meridians in the body, they all function the same way. The information we hold might be different, but in order to heal the body, it's the same way. The light body becomes ill when it's out of balance, and it becomes radiant and flourishing and vibrant when it's cleansed and in balance. Did I answer your question? I'm not sure because you said you keep getting information. So,
It's
how
like,
does that feel? Is that okay or too much?
yeah, it's very nice, but it's like when you raise your vibration, you hear
Things
more
different. I see.
detailed.
I see. Yeah.
Like you say the same thing, but feels profound and more to better understanding and get more information. I don't know how to explain it otherwise. It's like you say a simple proposition, I went to the mall, let's say. And next time when I hear it, it's like, I went yesterday to the mall. And next time when I hear it, it's like, I went yesterday in the afternoon to the mall. So keep adding, even if I know that is the same video, I have it stored in my phone, so I hear every time the same, but I cannot explain it. It's like until now I didn't hear so well.
I understand. Another thing that happens when I do these classes is that I am also tapping into information. And so it's encoded with also other information, right? So depending on your journey and the vibrational state, you will listen to, I suppose, what is necessary for you in that moment, even though it's the same thing. But if you have questions, if you feel stuck somewhere, let me know, and we can address it. But yeah, that does happen sometimes with these things.
Thank
Wonderful. It
you.
means you're evolving. It means you're evolving and you're learning more, and your vibration is changing. So, thankfully, it's not the same boring meditation every time. How about that?
No.
Okay.
For the others who ask, I didn't see who was asking. From your point of view, what is the best meditation for doing every day?
Yep. Yep. And
Because for me, in the morning is the same, but through the day, if I have time, I do something else also.
wow, awesome. That's amazing, Adriana. I love that.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
Rita, thank you. Rita, let me answer that question. So, the best meditation to do is running, okay, grounding, protecting, aligning. You are closing the first three chakras, opening the top three chakras. You run green life force and gold energy through the body. Okay. And most importantly, you cut cords, energetic cords in the body. This is daily energetic hygiene. You clear out the room with toxic people, places, and things that no longer serve you because you want to reset those. And you clear your karmic contracts. The most important is clearing the karmic contracts. So, that I would say is the daily basic one, the one that will really keep the spirit attentive to manifesting from its highest expression instead of falling into the patterns of toxic behaviors, all of the stuff that's unresolved within the system. And I do have that. That's actually the one that I send you after your session with me, and it's on my website in post session. It says it's edited with sound so that you can listen to the whole thing uninterrupted. There's no instruction in that meditation. And maybe I'll post it in the group, okay? Just in case. And you guys can listen to it. And someone told me that they didn't like the music. If you don't like the music, I do have the other file from my drive that doesn't have any music. So maybe I'll cut and paste that one in there too. Okay? So yeah, you're welcome. That's a really great one to do. And the body just feels amazing after that. But more importantly, when you stop doing that meditation, again, you start coming back into old patterns. So you really feel the contrast of running energy through the body as a soul and being in charge of the karmic contracts, and when you're, in a state of cause and effect. So I want to hear your feedback, guys. I'd love for you guys to continue doing that. Tiba says, do we have a group somewhere other than Zoom? Yeah, Tiba, we have a Facebook group. And so please join us. If you add me on Facebook, I will invite you on there. Okay. Lauren says, I found if I'm having crazy emotional thoughts during the day or night, I do the quick grounding and closing of the lower chakras and then run energy, just like she said now. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that. It's so good that you know when to apply the techniques, because that's a great time to do it. Anytime the body starts to feel sick or tired or out of balance, run energy, break those contracts. It'll immediately clear karma, because don't forget, anytime the body experiences imbalance, like illnesses or anything we're experiencing, we are in charge. We have the ability to clear those and reset those karmic contracts, because we're in charge of what we're experiencing. So this is proof of that. Okay, you can remove that. Danielle says, this work reminds me of clearing, autofill, and cookies on the computer. Yes, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what we're doing. Tiba, why is it important to close the first three chakras? What's the difference between that and emotional bypassing? Okay, big difference, big difference. And I will, let's see, that's a big topic to get into. Okay, so let's talk about that. Why is it important to close the first three chakras? The first three chakras are your root, which is your grounding and how safe you feel in your body. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay. I think there's a little echo there. All right. So the first three chakras are the connection to the physical dimension. So your emotion, how you feel in your body, whether you feel safe in this body, whether you feel safe in the life that you chose to experience. Number two, sacral, your sexual energy, your creative life force energy, how you exchange with other living organisms on this human life that you chose. Number three, your emotions, the most important tools of how you perceive the experiences that you chose to experience in your life. So what happens is that the first three chakras are, when they're out of balance, the easiest way for you to be manipulated, the easiest way for you to become a host to parasitic consciousness. Because if we maintain our perception only in the physical material plane, we are programmed to think that everything is cause and effect. If someone tells us we should be in survival mode, we come into survival mode and we respond from that place. But we forget that we have the ability to choose as creators. And so in the scale of evolution throughout your life, we kind of evolve from a state of being victim into a state of being aware, into a state of healing that, rebalancing, and then ultimately becoming empowered and a creator. And so through this journey, we realize that a lot of our programming is stored specifically and utilized within the first three chakras. Now, this matrix multiverse that we live in is built from the inside out. It knows your system better than you. It knows what happens if it puts fear in this little song right now, and then next few minutes put terrible news thing on the news. It knows that if it puts these vibrational frequencies in music, whether it's jazz or some hip hop song, it's going to affect your body in a certain way. You're going to come into a state of survival. It's gonna really activate the sexual body. And what better way to keep the human drugged and hypnotized than keep them in a state of fear, overly sexualized and not in control of their sexual needs and their emotions all over the place, where they invert the purest truths of our body, of our organism, saying that the emotions are God. We have to listen to those emotions. We have to honor those emotions, feel those emotions, right? And everything in our society trains us in a way to feel that way. But it's an inversion of the truth. Emotions are incredibly valuable tools to help us understand how to navigate experiences. When the body is in a state of survival, we utilize tools to tell us how to respond. But the information that's being fed onto that is the information that we're holding within the body from a state that's not necessarily in balance yet. It's not even aware. Most of the time, we're not even aware of how we feel about things. We don't know, some of us don't know what love is. We don't know what true, genuine connection is to the body. And so after a lifetime of programming with false ideals about emotions, you begin to recognize what true emotions are, which means your real, authentic understanding of that experience and your role in that experience. And that really changes the dynamic between yourself and the things that are happening around you. So spiritual bypassing means, ignoring those things and just, stuffing it in the back and just looking at the joyful, happy things that are happening right now. And that's absolutely not what we want to do. Okay. It also means, using spirituality to neglect very important aspects of your spiritual evolution, which sometimes are very difficult to address and to look at and feel and experience. And that's the opposite of what we want to do. When we close the first three chakras, we're disconnecting from any imbalances, cords, because what happens to your chakras are organisms of consciousness that are interconnected with the organs, with the endocrine system of the body. And they are like routers. They receive and process information, and they also give off information. And when those are sick and toxic and full of old programs that don't serve you anymore, that's what you're emanating to the world. And so it's incredibly important to clean up those routers so that you can come into who you really are, not just a product of programming. And really, this is hard work. It's not really an escape of any kind. Like, you really, when you're doing the work, are met with tremendous, powerful emotions that emerge by just sitting in stillness in the body, because even the muscles store that information. So when we close them, we're for a moment resetting them. We disconnect from any toxic cords. When you're out of balance emotionally, you also become a host to parasitic consciousness. Okay, so that means simply imbalanced exchanges with people, places, things, even entities, attachments to your body. They feed off your fear. They feed off your anger that you're holding on towards your mother. Feed off the anxiety that you have to go to this office. And you have those in your body. And so how do you control them? How do you work with them? You have to reset them and then gently, one by one, work with all of these things in your body. And you need to take time for yourself to do that work. It's a process. The other part of that is that when we're storing all this information in the sacral, in the chakras here, when you don't work with them one by one, it becomes very overwhelming. And it becomes difficult to meditate. That's why some people have such a hard time sitting in meditation. They cannot sit still because they are full of all kinds of emotions that they've never processed or had, a moment to look at. So this helps us calm the emotions down so that we can then, with clarity, focus on what's necessary in that moment for healing. And when you do this work, what you're going to find out is that really it's only one thing that's the root cause of all of this stuff that we're dealing with. It can be a spectrum of different emotions and experiences in your life, traumatic, non-traumatic, but the root is one. And ultimately, we choose between love and fear in our life. That's the ultimate base function of how we're dealing with these emotions that you're going to find out. I'm not going to tell you that. You have to find it out through your journey and through cleaning up those emotional blockages. Okay, so we close them to see clearly. We close them in order to come into a state of neutrality, because only in a state of neutrality can you see truth. If you are wide open in the root chakra and you're full of fear, you're only going to see things from a place of fear, because whatever is out of balance and mostly wide open, functioning, all the programs are coming from there, you're going to have a one-sided, myopic vision of your life and experiences. And so you're going to get stuck. You're going to get stuck in victimism. You're going to get stuck in pain. You're going to get stuck in the emotional aspect, in the story, your story of suffering and pain. You won't be able to detach from there and look at the ultimate truth, which is what we want to do, is to see truth. Your truth, your participation in that, and the truth of others that are participating in that. And that is sometimes difficult. So you have to take time and compassion for yourself in that process. Okay. Very good. I hope that answered. I know there's much more to unpack from this. Dawn says, is there any other group than faith? Yes. Okay. Lisa says, can one remove the entities on our own? Absolutely. How do you remove entities? You become a vibration, you shift your vibration. Simply put, you shift your vibration. If your vibration is at a state in which you are feeding and providing lots of juicy food for the host, you are the host, the parasitic conscious to eat from you, to feed, to thrive off your fear, to thrive off the feeling of being unworthy, because those entities feed off that, and they create and manifest more experiences. You're together, you're creating more experiences because it wants to feed off that, and you're a magnetic resonance to the experiences over and over again. So our emotions are very much alive within us, very much participating in the co-creation, unless you become the master. Instead of becoming a slave to the emotions, we have to be in charge of those and work with those. And basically everything I've been teaching you here is removing entities from your body, because entities are thought forms. They're thought forms, right? So if you, for example, in the beginning, we removed cords and all this heavy blockages and heavy emotions from the body, that is you learning how to remove entities and attachments from your body. Okay. Can one remove? Yes. So we close them to see clearly. Yes. Inka, thank you for explaining in detail. You're very welcome. Thank you so much. I find myself indeed attached to emotions. They almost are in the center of my day. So maybe detaching from that a bit is healthy. Yes, Tiba. And so you brought up a very good point. I mean, the thing is not to become enemies with the emotions. I want you to become best friends with your emotions, which means that you have to meet them. You have to get to know them. And you have to know if they're true, or if you're just reacting and responding, coming into replays of, how do you say it? You're just living out patterns. Okay? Because since childhood, we've been taught how to deal with experiences. And so attached to those experiences are, of course, a certain set of emotions that go with that experience. So anytime that we're triggered by similar experiences, we want to use this little bank of information. And so we want to apply those emotions at every time. However, if you really look at in retrospect and really understand the situation, you might find that, hey, this is a limited perspective. I don't need to just use these emotions. I can use another emotion like compassion, maybe, for myself, or love, or forgiveness, or something like this. But unless you have that conversation with yourself, you won't know that you have more tools available in your toolbox instead of just what you're holding on to. So throughout your day, notice what are the things that trigger emotions in you. And at the end of the day, go through those events and see that inner child that is playing out patterns of behaviors to triggers. What are the triggers? What are the patterns that you're playing out? What is it that you need? What does that inner child need in order to not have to play out those patterns again? What would help her make it a constructive experience instead of destructive? Because it becomes destructive when we play out these toxic emotions that really hurt the body. And we want to be compassionate of this organism, right? Because don't forget, those emotions are chemicals that run through the body. They cause stress, they cause inflammation, they cause your immune system to break down. And do you really want to do that to your body, right? And that's not pretending that it's not there. It's really looking at the truth, right? The responsibility that you have with your emotions and what happens as a result of that. So taking time to look at this. Okay, awesome. Thank you. How is it possible for others to send negative thought forms to harm others? Is not that a conflict with free will? It is. Seemingly, it's an infliction that someone's doing. However, what you're going to find is that you are somehow a magnet, a match to this information. It could be the feeling of being unworthy that makes this person have the same feeling of unworthiness, want to send these painful emotions and intentions towards you, right? And so you create these events that trigger those experiences and those emotions. And it's not so much that they're literally sending it to you, it's that you're in resonance with that emotion, with that experience, and so it brings you two together. So both of you are going through the same lesson. A lot of times when we see it, we're like, no, he's not. They're not going through that same experience. I'm the victim here. But they're not. They're empowered. They're evil. But when you look at them, when you really analyze what they're doing and why they're doing it, what they're trying to get from you, you begin to see that it's another child. It's another child crying out for the same thing that you are trying to get for yourself, which is to be seen, to be acknowledged. And once again, the lesson between these two people is that you never get anything from outside. You have to be fulfilling yourself from the inside. And it's until that moment that you recognize that you can now become empowered and healing yourself and no longer have to require experiencing these toxic problems with other people. And I've really experienced this firsthand. I tested this theory over the past couple of years with my career coming public out with all kinds of things that have happened to me. And it's almost as if the soul wants to see what happens, if you talk about this, what happens? Is something bad going to happen? Okay, so then we manifest all these things that happen in our experience. And then I decided, okay, I'm done experiencing that. Let me shift my vibrational frequency back into a state of empowerment. And immediately all of those things started to dissolve. Don't experience any more problems with people, no more conflict, no more dramas, back into balance. Why? Because you become in charge of your body and your organism, what you're co-creating. Always, always, you are fully empowered. So it's really important. And of course, you're going to cut cords, you're going to clear all that stuff, but find the root. What's causing you to be a vibrational match to being targeted, or affected by this person? There's a resonance there. Can you explain when people say they are mirrors, what does it really mean? Exactly what I'm just explaining right now. When we're mirrors, we are mirroring the inner child that is trying to receive something. See, we tend, because I think we're programmed by society, by culture, to think when someone does something bad, they are evil, they are they have a yucky, rotten heart. But the truth is that we forget to look at, because we're so busy embodying a role of victimism, that it's hard. When you're in a state of victimism, you can't reach compassion, and that's a problem. That's what becomes a toxic problem. Only when you enter unconditional love for yourself, in which you're no longer wanting to be a state of victim, can you see truth, your truth and their truth. Maybe you do things that are toxic. Maybe you do things. Maybe because of your background, you've now decided to lie, say little lies here and there to protect yourself. And those little lies, they trigger these people to want to do things to you, to say things, to create dramas in your life. So there's an inner child that's acting out to try to be seen and loved, and then another child that wants the same thing. And so these people, they create these scenarios, experiences together in order to once again play out this program. So it's very important to become aware of that and start to change, start to work that. You change your vibrational frequency. Now, this person no longer will be in resonance with you because you're not there. You don't feel like a victim. You don't feel worthless anymore. You know your worth. And so this person now doesn't have anyone to play with, right? Because they can try all kinds of things, they won't trigger you. So now you're no longer in resonance, and you're no longer a mirror to that. And the most important mirror is the one you looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing everything that you are and everything that you aren't, complete truth without lying to yourself. Because in the early journey, it can be very easy to make excuses or to accept some things that we do that are not really in alignment with us, right? Sometimes it's hard to let that go. Um, Liza,
Yes, can you hear me?
yes,
Okay, so I was the one who asked that question
yeah,
about the will.
okay,
Um, so a quick example. So if you're in a relationship with someone
mm-hmm.
and someone is sending negative thoughts your way because they're looking to sever that relationship that you're in. So even though it's really not about you, um, it will still have that kind of impact. It's like a mirror as opposed to the other person, because it's really about the other person that you're with and the fact that they want to be with that individual, but they feel that the other person in the relationship is preventing that person from being with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always a mirror. I know. I know. It's kind of a pain to see things like that. But I mean, you got to go back. You got to rewind. The reason why you came in contact with this person was because there were programs. Okay, there were programs and belief systems that made you a match. So when you guys woke up and realized that, now it wasn't fun anymore because you weren't feeding codependent dynamics that, you know, made it sustainable for those toxic programs to survive. And so when that happens, now there's another person involved, right? That becomes a playing target for these two people. It's the same program magnified, which is a feeling of being incomplete, being, you know, not worthy enough, not full enough, doesn't have enough to be enough. So they have to do everything possible in order to let you know that they're going to take everything away to create pain or more suffering for you. So the same dynamic. We believe in a sense that we don't have this worthiness, this ability to take control of our power, and sometimes we come into a state of victimism as well due to this dynamic. So we have to be able to change that. No, don't look at it like that. And I know your experience is a very specific experience. We're not going to get into details.
Right. That was
Um,
in the past. That was
yeah,
stuff which thankfully no more, but it does happen to a lot of people, even people that I know. So that's why I asked the question. I
yeah,
was just curious.
right. But it's not. You are the mirror. You are the mirror because
Mm-hmm.
what's being triggered is the belief, the root belief that we need something from outside of us. Okay, we're not full, we're empty, and so we got to take whatever we have and use that as a peg to manipulate or to get what we need. And so that's the match, okay? And sometimes it's hard for us to see it from the outside. You have to understand, like, the subconscious programs that fed into your behaviors, that attracted that person to you, that look at the dynamics in your conversations, the relationship. Is it codependent? Is it an even exchange? Are you guys playing out roles that are not, that are fantasy of a relationship, in fact not an actual relationship? All those things can be sometimes painful to acknowledge, but they play a role in these toxic, imbalanced relationships. So, and it's always the mirror of a lack. Okay? I hope that answered that question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my love. Okay. Yeah, Luana says, thank you for your bravery in asking that question. Thank you, Liza. Amazing question. All right, my loves. Let's get started, yeah? Recharging the energy. And we'll do more Q&A after. All right, we're going to start by inhaling deeply and exhaling. Okay, we're going to ground ourselves down to the center of the earth. We know the basics. So grounding is important because as electrical beings, we are like an electrical charge. When we hold on to too much negative charge in the body, we become drained. We're minus, right? We're getting subtracted. All this life force energy is drained. When we're too plus, also, when we're too, on the other spectrum, we are also being bombarded too much. So we have to find a balance energetically. When you ground yourself, you're rebalancing the charges, the electrical charges in the body. So feel yourself coming fully into the body. And this is a really quick technique to bring yourself into a state of balance. And in this moment, any kind of exhaustion that you might feel, you can eliminate it from the body. Just visualize as you rebalance the electric charge, all of that negative, draining energy also leaves the body, down to the center of the earth. Breathing deeply, inhaling and exhaling. You're going to protect yourself in your field. This is yet another technique to re-energize the body, because if you have cords hanging out of your body, draining your life force. So today I want you to scan your body and notice where you are being drained from, where you are allowing drainage, where you are draining yourself. Notice different parts of the body seem more open and more open to draining energy than others. See if there's cords, thick ones, thin ones, all around the body. And you're going to visualize that you're going to grab a knife or a sword, whatever feels real to you. You're just going to put that sword all the way around your body, clearing and cutting all these cords. And inhaling, deeply inhaling, asking for your life force energy to return back to your body. And everything that comes back is just neutral gold light energy that goes back into your bank of energy. Recharges your bank. Sometimes we come across artificial intelligence blockages in the body, and we're going to work on those in a minute. So in order to recharge the body, I want you to visualize an energy, a color of an energy that represents vitality, very balanced energy. So you're going to visualize that energy coming in from the center of the earth up into your center core, creating a vortex of energy. From the universe, from source, go ahead and visualize pulling down a powerful wave of golden light that comes down through the crown of your head, down your spine, combining with that earth energy. You're going to send 10% of that energy back down to the center of the earth, eliminating any heaviness that you have in the body. Anything that's being drained from the body, let it out. Actively move that exhaustion, actively move any stagnant energy and information in the body. Going back to your solar plexus, you're going to take 80% out from the spine, from the crown of the head, coating the outside of your protective field. Pushing out any thought forms that are exhausting to this organism, to this body. Any emotions. Allowing the body to feel lighter. You're going to go back to your solar plexus, and now you're going to absorb that energy into the body. And this is where we recharge the body. So go ahead. With every breath, you're going to inhale, absorbing that energy into the body, into the pores, the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level. Re-energizing, clearing out all the things that drain the life force energy in this system, from the crown of your head down to the base of your feet. The vortices in the hands, clearing them out. The vortices in the feet, in the stomach area, the abdomen, the back. Very good. And I just want you to scan your body now that you're running energy. We're going to start with the root. You're going to close that root chakra all the way down to the size of a dime. Disconnecting any imbalances in the root chakra. We're not, when we close the first chakra, we are controlling the information that we receive from here. As we become the master of the body and the mind. We're going to go up to the sacral chakra. Close that chakra. Going up to the solar plexus. Close that chakra. Going up to the heart, opening that chakra. Opening compassion, unconditional love. Allowing us to see truth. Going up to the throat chakra. Open that throat chakra. Going up to the third eye. Opening that third eye. Very good. Now that you're fully open, going to your crown, activating the crown. Fill it in. Beginning with the intellect. Shifting your frequency. Going into relationships. Fill it in. Going into health. Going into abundance, money, exchange, energetic exchange. And we're going to create an energy bank, which means that pure life force energy. Go ahead and create and fill that section up with your color. Notice your body becoming lighter, becoming more energized as you do so. Your cells are responding to this frequency change within the body. You're going to go into your spiritual self, your spirit, your journey, your purpose. What are you here to do? Fill that in. Excellent. You're grounded down to the center of the earth. You're running energy through your body. First 3 chakras are closed, top 3 are open, and the crown is activated. I want you to scan your body from head to toe and notice where you are holding on to this exhaustion, where you are draining energy from your body. Just the way you scanned earlier, go back to that part of the body. Take a look at that. Where are you holding on to it? I want you to focus on that part of your body. Okay. I want you to ask the question, what's causing us to be exhausted? What's really causing this draining of energy? Where are we directing our life force energy? Take a look at that. Notice if this is something new or something we do all the time. Do we usually drain our energy this way? Okay. What is it that our body requires in order to not have to feel the emotions that we feel that drain the energy? Notice that. What is it that we really want? What is this body asking for? Take a look at that. And what I want you to do is I want you to provide yourself with everything this organism, this beautiful vessel, this body needs. I want you to select a color for that vibrational frequency. And we're going to recharge the body first from our environment. So I want you to visualize yourself in nature. Go ahead and take yourself to a place, a beautiful place, surrounded by trees. And you're going to visualize absorbing from those trees, from the crown of your head into the body, going into the center pull of life force. Allow yourself to visualize pulling in that energy from those trees to heal the body, to rebalance as you realign your body to the natural cycles of creation, of earth, of nature. Begin to notice your body, it becomes less stressed, less blocked. And you're going to push as you bring that energy into the body, into the earth underneath you, any parts of you that are feeling heavy, drained. Replacing all of that energy out of the body down to the center of the earth. Okay, you can move that energy faster through the body if you wish. Okay, I want you to visualize yourself entering a state of body of glass. Some of you that have been in my class earlier this month know the technique of turning your body into glass. And we're going to become aware of where we're storing toxic energy in the body that is draining us. So just visualize your body kind of dissolving into this light. And all you see is kind of the perimeter of your body outlined in glass. And inside that body, you're going to see little darker colors. Maybe you feel heat in those parts of the body. You're going to grab your hand of glass, and you're going to pull out all of those dark spots in the body. Everything that's draining you. Thought forms, emotions, attachments. Pull it out. Notice things that are stuck in the spinal cord. This is where we store the majority. It's rooted in the spinal cord, so pull it out. Okay, and we're going to visualize from the center of the earth pulling up now more of that healing energy from the earth underneath you, entering into the body, nurturing the body, healing the body. So now you have these two fields of energy that have merged in the middle of your body. I want you to bring yourself into a state of neutrality, into a state of unconditional love. This is the energy that will rebalance you completely. All the cells respond to this rebalance. And just in your mind think, I am nothing. I am not exhausted. I'm not tired. I'm not overly excited. I'm not out of balance. I am just this essence, this light in this body, experiencing this moment without any need to apply meaning or attach any strong emotions or judgments. Notice how immediately empowering it is to come into that state, how the body becomes re-energized just in this state of nothing. At the same time, you are merged, one with everything around you. Very good. You're going to inhale deeply and exhale, holding this space for a moment. Okay, very good. You're going to go to your root chakra now. You're going to open that root chakra back into a balanced state. I want you to spin that root chakra, eliminate anything that's attached there, clear it out completely until it's crystalline red. Going up to your sacral chakra, spinning it, eliminating any blockages in the sacral chakra until it's crystalline orange. Going up into the solar plexus now, opening it back into a balanced state until it's crystalline yellow. Grounding yourself. Going up into the heart chakra, spinning it. going up into the throat. The third eye. And your crown. Activating that crown from a place of calm, neutrality, awareness, fearless of truth, regardless of what happens around us. We are the master of this body and this mind. Take this light, take it up to the eighth, activate the eighth. This is the final technique, is activating your higher chakras. The ninth, turn it on. The 10th, turn it on. The 11th, turn it on. The 12th. And the 13th. And above you is a powerful white light of source, which is ultimately your infinite source of life force energy that can run through the body. Go ahead and bring that down. You're going to bring it down the pillar of light through your body, through your crown, down your spine, healing, regenerating, re-energizing, down to the solar plexus, down to the perineum, and down to the earth. As you are this pillar of light, visualize it. Visualize that light. Very good. You're going to come back into the room. And as you open your eyes, you are grounded, protected, aligned. Excellent. Very good, my loves. Welcome back. And so from this practice, there are several techniques here that you can break up and do separately throughout your day when you're feeling exhausted. Just visualizing nature and absorbing from nature to recharge the body is incredibly powerful. Grounding yourself, protecting yourself, activating your crown chakra. All of these are tools that you can utilize to re-energize the body. Okay? So, do we have any questions? I'm going to disconnect from YouTube. Everyone on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us today. Yes, I will go ahead and post that meditation here in the feed. And if you have any questions, do join us. Thank you so much. All right, love.